Aku, and today I'm started my newspaper entitled Sketch French writer Milan Kundera dies in Paris aged 94 by Jane Framer. Against the French press or Peggy Case Republic. Case French writer Milan Kundera, author of the unbearable likeness of being, has died aged 94. The Milan Kundera Library said on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I can confirm that Mr. Milan Kundera passed away yesterday, it's Tuesday, after a prolonged illness. Anna Rosava, spokeswoman for the library in his native city of Brno told AFP. He died at home in his Paris apartment, she said. The novelist, poet, and essayist lived in France since his emigration from communist rule Wednesday. Sketch calls Slovakia in 1975. He was known for dark, provocative novels dealing with the human condition and sprinkled with satire reflecting his experience of being stripped of his sketch nationally for decent. The sketch news agency CTK quoted sketch ambassador to Paris, Michael Fleischmans, as saying Kundera went to buried in his native Brno. Browsing through the service at Freeway Municipal Library on Wednesday, Chiri Revasik said the news of Kundera's death was a shock. Farewell, Sketch-born French writer Milan Kundera is photographed on October 14, 1973 in Prague. Kundera, the author of The Unbearable Likeness of Being, has died aged 94, said Anna Rozava, spokeswoman for the Milan Kundera library in his native city of Brno on. Milan Kundera is a phenomenon that I thought would never perish, he told AFP. He always gave me a reason to think harder about his topics. And then his styles. It's a complicated, long complex sentence with a punchline at the end. And it's a pleasure to read. Levitek added. French President Emmanuel Macron tweeted his condolences to Kundera's wife and loved ones to his readers. Kundera embraced universal horizon in his writings. His irony and genius have made his work classic of our time, Macron added. Born on April 1, 1929, Kundera studied at secondary school in Brno before moving to Prague in 1981 to study literary science and then script writing at university. He translated works by the French poet Guillaume Apollinaire and wrote poetry, including a collection of poems hailing communism, as well as short stories. Kundera also taught at the Prague Film School, where his students included the future Oscar-winning director Milos Forman. His breakthrough novel, The Joke, about a young man expelled from university and the Communist Party over an ill-conceived joke, was published in 1967. Press National, a former communist himself, Kundera fell out of favor with the authorized after. Ah! Oh my god! Oh, sorry. After the Prague Spring reform movement was crushed by Soviet-led armies in 1968. Following his departure for France, Kundera taught at the University of Rennes and at the Paris-based School for Advanced Studies. Rarely speaking to the public, Kundera was stripped of skills nationally in 1979, following the publication of the Book of Laughter and Forgetting. He became a French national in 1987. However, his most famous work, The Unbearable Likeness of Pink, was published in 1984 and turned into a film starring Juliette Binoche and Daniel Day-Lewis in 1981. The novel is a morality tale about freedom and passion on both an individual and collective level set against the Prague Spring and its aftermath in exile. His bitter relation to his native country suffered another blow in 2008 when a sketch magazine accused him of being a Polish informant under communist rule. Kundera denied the news as pure lies, criticized for turning sour with his homeland and for his decision to ban the translation of his French book into sketch. Kundera only regained his sketch nationality in 2019. Okay, so next is Satria Andika.
Okay. Okay. My name is Satria Andika S.M. I am from Boyolango Vocational High School. Uh, udah kelihatan belum itu share screen-nya? No, I want to think about military ties to take center stage during Modi's visit to France by Adam Plowright against French base or Paris. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins a two-day visit to France Thursday, where he will attend the traditional Bastille Day military parade as guest of honor and discuss major new defense deal. French President Emmanuel Macron's red carpet welcome for the Hindu nationalist leader comes weeks after Modi was given the rare honor of a White House state dinner in Washington, a city he was once banned from visiting. Despite difference over the war in Ukraine and tensions over human rights in India, New Delhi and Western democracies are keep on deepening ties because of mutual concern about China. India is one of the pillars of our Indo-Pacific strategy. An aide to Macron told reporters this week on condition of anonymity. Macron has met Modi guest of honor for the July 14 military parade, which kicks off French National Day celebration with the participation of Indian troops and Indian flown French-made fighter jets underlining close defense ties. India is one of the biggest buyers of French arms, with Modi announcing a landmark deal for 36 Rafale fighter jets during a trip to Paris in 2015 that was worth around 4 billion euros or 4.24 billion US dollar at the time. He is set to unveil the purchase of another 26 marine versions of the state of the art aircraft during this visit, as well as a deal of three Scorpion-class submarines. According to reports by the Tribune news website in France and the Hindustan Times newspaper in India, New Delhi is seeking to rapidly modernize its armed force with fears about China assert- assertiveness heightened by simmering disputes along its Himalayan frontier. Rights concern. Modi has visited France 4 times since Macron came to power in 2017, while Macron was fated on a state visit to New Delhi in 2018. Aides on both sides have talked of the personal chemistry between the two leaders and pointed to cooperation on climate change and solar space technology and nuclear power. As part of the 25-year-old strategic partnership between France and India, Modi told French newspaper Les Echos that bilateral trade had doubled in the last 9 years, and Macron's thinking really matched ours. India and France are naturally compatible, and we see France as one of our foremost global partners, Modi added. But the 72-year-old Indian leader remains a controversial figure at home and in the West, dating back to his tenure as chief minister of the western state of Gujarat in 2002, when around 100 people 1,000 people, mostly Muslim, were killed in sectarian riots. He has been dodged by allegation that he was complicit in the violence and was once subject to a United States Department of State travel ban over his role. Indian government probes have cleared him of culpability. Since his first crushing electoral victory in 2014, Modi has regularly been denounced by rights groups for increased discrimination and violence toward the country's Muslim as well as stifling independent media. French academic Christopher Chevrolet said Modi was in the process of deconstructing India's democratic institution. In an article published this week, five observers expect Macron to raise concern possibility. Plabiscite. The fact that explains France's relative success in the relationship is that unlike the US and the UK, Canada, Germany, and a few other European countries, you've hardly seen France commenting on the internal affairs of India. Constantino Xavier from the Center for Social and Economic Progress, a New Delhi-based think tank, this week that has been appreciated on the Indian side. Balancing game. India has also become a vital market for Western companies. Its swelling middle classes helping the economy to be the fifth biggest in the world. Many European and American business, including US tech giant Apple, are also ramping up production in India to mitigate the threat of supply chain disruption from China. The war in Ukraine has heightened concern in the West about the risk of conflict disrupting the flow of key raw materials and technology from China, but it has also exposed a potential rift with India. New Delhi, which has long sought to balance its ties with Moscow and the West, has declined to condemn Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine and has emerged as a top buyer of discounted Russian oil during the biggest conflict in Europe since World War II. Okay, next.
Okay, I can uh, I can read one newspaper. The title is Lemak teaser among items to be returned by that. Okay. See? Pizarro Ghazali Idris, Benar News, Jakarta. The Netherlands has cited well written around 500 cultural objects that were looted from in Indonesia during the colonial era, including lambak theater, lambak theater, which consisted of a collection of 3,035 gold and silver items. The objects were wrongfully brought to the Netherlands during the colonial period, acquired under duress or violating the Dutch government said in a statement. The art and artifacts are currently housed in the National Museum of World Cultures and the Rich Museum. Indonesia will also regain for status from the ancient Javanese kingdom of Singasari, a traditional Balinese singer in 132 modern art pieces from Bali, known as the Piramaha collection. Jakarta World Record recover at least not yet the remains of the Java man, the first known fossil of the Homo erectus species discovered by Dutchman Even Du Bois during the colonial era. The Dutch have in the past been reluctant to return the remains. Okay, the transfer of ownership of the object the Netherlands has agreed to return first, scheduled to take place at the National Museum of Ethnology in Leiden on July 10. The Netherlands is one of several European countries that have been facing growing pressure to return cultural objects that were acquired during colonial rule or surveillance and exploration. Sorry, exploitation in 2020, uh, sorry, 2018, 2018, France announced its intention to the return 26 artwork to Benentat, were taken by French troops in 1819, 1819 to in 2018. German agreed to return art architecture to Namibia that were taken during a genocide in the early to 2030. Used the Dutch Secretary of State for Culture and Media. Is it to return the Indonesia object based on the recommendation of the communities set up in the 2020 to examine, 2020 to examine plan for the restitution of cultural objects from colonial times. This is a historic moment as Lou aside the statement. This was the first time that the Netherlands followed that community's recommendation to return items that will never have been brought to the country that added. But more than anything, it's a moment to look to the future. She said. Usual said that opportunity was also about starting a period of closer cooperation with Indonesia and Sri Lanka, and filed such a research presentation and exchange among museums. The restitution of the object and the Dutch government were able to address in a colonial legacy and improve its relations with informal colonial in Asia and Africa. last month, Prime Minister Mark Rutte formally acknowledged Indonesia in independence that August um, 17 17 18 18 5 5 sorry 45 efforts for the from former colonial power which previously incited that the soldiers ASEAN archipelago had gained sovereignty in 85 59 1859. Ruth has also apologized for the violence committed by Dutch forces during Indonesia's struggle for independence. This month, Dutch King Willem-Alexander Republic apologized for the Netherlands' role in profiting from several during colonial times, particularly in Suriname and ex-Dutch colonial in the Caribbean. Jakarta welcomed the Dutch government announcement the object written in part of broader agreement between Indonesia and the Netherlands and one sorry and 1875 on the restitution of cultural heritage that was taken during the colonial period. That area, the Delta faced many obstacles in its implementation, said Sri Markana, a member of Reparation Committee under the Indonesia Education, Culture Research and Technology Ministry. The instrument has been reserved in place to the last 2 years. Three professor of history at the Gajah Mada University in Yogyakarta told Benar News, this is this is progress and Indonesia's should be more proactive. Indonesia has recently received data on to 2,500 items from the church, and each item to be first researched for its provenance. Three said we are selective because it has to be credible. We will prioritize those that have important historic value, he said. The priority object, he said, mainly include artifacts from Indonesia, Edo period, and royal requirements contain important knowledge on the history of the archipelago. He said it was a challenge for the National Museum of Indonesia to prepare to receive and store this object. Referring the Director General of Culture at Indonesia Education, Culture Research and Technology Ministry said that there were four collections that Jakarta wanted to reclaim for the Netherlands, including the government. The Indonesian government had not set a specific timeline for the return of the historic object, Hilmar said. But we hope that after July 10, the process for the other collection will be transferred because there is already a scheme, she said. Okay, thank you. Maybe the next, Mr. Fathan.
Mr. Fathan, can you give
Uh,
me this John? Can you give me this John? I want to go to toilet after this.
oh, sure. Okay. Okay, it's my turn. Wait, bro.
Can you give your turn to me?
Okay. Salva, please off your share screen, please.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Military ties to take center stage during Modi's visit to France, New Delhi seeking to rapidly modernize armed force from by Adam Plowright against French press or Paris. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi begins a two-day visit to France on Thursday, where he will attend the traditional Bastille Day military parade as guest of honor and discuss major new defense deals. French President Emmanuel Macron's red carpet welcome for the Hindu nationalist leader comes weeks after Modi was given the rare honor of a White House state dinner in Washington, a city he was once banned from visiting. Despite difference over the war in Ukraine and tensions over human rights in India, New Delhi and Western democracies are keen on deepening ties because of mutual concern about China. India is one of the pillars of our Indo-Pacific strategy, an aide to Macron told reporters this week on condition of anonymity. Macron has met Modi guest of honor for the July 14 military parade, which kicks off French National Day celebration with the participation of Indian troops and Indian flown French-made fighter jets, underlining close defense ties. India is one of the biggest buyers of French arms, with Modi announcing a landmark deal for 36 Rafale fighter jets during a trip to Paris in 2015 that was worth around 4 billion euros or 4.24 billion US dollar at the time. He is set to unveil the purchase of another 26 marine version of the state-of-the-art aircraft during this visit, as well as a deal for three Scorpion-class submarines. According to reports by the Tribune News website in France and the Hindustan Times newspaper in India, New Delhi is seeking to rapidly modernize its armored force, with fears about China's assertiveness heightened by submarine disputes along its Himalayan frontier. Rights concern. Modi has visited France 4 times since Macron came to power in 2017, while Macron was fitted on a state visit to New Delhi in 2018. Aides on both sides have talked up the personal chemistry between the two leaders and pointed to cooperation on climate change and solar, space technology, and nuclear power. As part of the 25-year-old strategic partnership between France and India, Modi told French newspaper Les Echos that bilateral trade has doubled in the last 9 years and Macron's thinking really much over. India and France are naturally compatible and we see France as one of our foremost global partners, Modi added. But the 72-year-old Indian leader remains a controversial figure at home and in the West, dating back to his tenure as chief minister of the western state of Gujarat in 2002, when around 1,000 people, mostly Muslim, were killed in sectarian riots. He has been dogged by allegations that he was complicit in the violence and was once subject to a United States Department of State travel ban over his role. Indian government probes have cleared him of culpability. Since his first crushing electoral victory in 2014, Modi has regularly been denounced by rights groups for increased discrimination and violence towards the country's Muslim, as well as stifling independent media. Leading French academic Christophe Jaffrelot said Modi was in the process of deconstructing India's democratic institution. In an article published this week, few observers expect Macron to raise rights concern publicly. The fact that explains France's relative success in this relationship is that unlike the US, the UK, Canada, Germany, and a few other European countries, you've hardly seen France commenting on the internal affairs of India. Constantino Xavier from the Center for Social and Economic Progress, a New Delhi-based think tank, said this week that that has been appreciated on the Indian side. balancing game. India has also become a vital market for Western companies. Its swelling middle classes helping the economy to be the fifth biggest in the world. Many European and American business, including US tech giant Apple, are also ramping up production in India to mitigate the threat of supply chain disruption from China. The war in Ukraine has heightened concern in the West about the risk of conflict disrupting the flow of key raw materials and technology from China, but it has also exposed a rift with India. New Delhi, which has long sought to balance its ties with Moscow and the West, has declined to condemn Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine and has emerged as a top buyer of discounted Russian oil during the biggest conflict in Europe since World War II. Okay, Mr. Fathan, thank you.
Okay, Satria, you can. Yes, as you can. So,
Fathan, works for me.
wait. Ah, okay. So I am talking about newspaper in the tile sketch that French writer Milan Kundera dies in Paris in 94 by Jean Felemer. Against French press or preview sketch Republic. Sketch French writer Milan Kundera, author of The Unbearable Likeness of Being, has died aged 94. 94. The Milan Kundera library said on Wednesday. Unfortunately, I can confirm that Mr. Milan Kundera passed away Tuesday after a prolonged illness. Anna Morozova, spokeswoman for the library native city of Brno, told AFP he died at home in his parents' apartment. He said, the novelist was an essayist life in French science is immigration from communist rule Wednesday. Sketch calls Slovakia in 1975. He was known for dark, provocative novels dealing with the human condition and sprinkled with satire reflecting his experience of being stripped of his sketch nationally for dissent. The sketch news agency became for the sketch ambassador to Paris. Michael plays Mike and saying Kundera went to be buried in his native Brno. Browsing through the Salvas and Radio Mun- Municipal Library on Wednesday, Jairai Helait Space said the news of Kundera's death was a shock. Farewell. Sketchbook French writer Milan Kundera is photographed on October 14, 1973 in Peru, Kundera, the author of The Unbearable Likeness of Being, has died aged 94, said Anna Morozova, spokeswoman for the Milan Kundera Library in his native city of Brno. Milan Kundera is a phenomenon that I thought would never perish, he told AFP. He always gave me a reason to think harder about his topic. And then his style is a complicated, long, complex sentence with a punchline at the end. And it's a pleasure to read. Levitek added. French President Emmanuel Macron tweeted his condolences to Kundera's wife and loved one to his readers. Kundera embraced universal horizon in his writings. His irony and genius have made his work characteristic of all time. When on April 1, 1929, Kundera studied at secondary school in Brno before moving to Prague in 1981 to study literary science and then screenwriting at university. He translated works by the French poet Guillaume Apollinaire and wrote poetry, including a collection of poems hailing communism, as well as short stories. Kundera also taught at the Prague Film School, where his studies included the future Oscar-winning director Milos Forman. His first novel, The Joke about a Young Man expelled from university and the Communist Party offers an ill-conceived joke was published in 1967. French national, a former communist himself, Kundera fell out of favor with the authorities after the Prague Spring reform movement was crushed by Soviet-led armies in 1968. Following his departure for France, Kundera taught at the University of Rennes and at the Paris-based School for Advanced Studies. Rarely speaking to the public, Kundera was stripped of sketch nationally in 1979, following the publication of the Book of Laughter and Forgetting. He became a French national in 1987. By far, his most famous work, The Unbearable Practice of Being, was published in 1984, and Hamlet into a film starring Juliette Binoche and Daniel Day-Lewis in 1981. The novel is morality tale about freedom and passion on both an individual and collective level, set against the Prague Spring and its aftermath in exile. His bitter relation to his native country suffered another blow in 2008 when a success magazine accused him of being a Polish informer under communist rule. Kundera denied the news as pure lies, criticized for turning sour with his homeland and for his decision to ban the translation of his French books into sketch. Kundera only regained his sketch nationally in 2019. Okay, so next is Salva Azzahra.
Okay. See? Hmm. The title is a landmark teaser among items to be written by Dutch historical editors. The News Jakarta, the Netherlands, has said it would return around 500 cultural objects that were looted from it during the colonial era, including bamboo teaser plundered by Dutch troops after the mass slaughter of people on the island in 80, 89, 1895, 94, following a request from Jakarta last year. The Netherlands will return the famous Lambok teaser, which consists of a collection of 3,035 gold and silver items. The objects were wrongfully brought to the Netherlands during the colonial period occurred under those or piloting the Dutch government said in a statement. The art and artifact culture houses are the national vision of world cultures and the sorry, and the Rich, Rich Museum Indonesia will also retain forested from the ancient Japanese kingdom of Singasari, a traditional violinist singer, and 132 modern art pieces from Bali, known as the Vietnam Hall Collection. Jakarta won a record of the legend noting at the remainder of the Java meant the first known fossil of the Homo erectus species discovered by Dutchman Alexander Du Bois during the colonial era. The Dutch have in the past been reluctant to return the remain the transfer of ownership of the object the Netherlands has agreed to return was scheduled to take place at the National Museum of Ethnology. Sorry. Museum of Technology in Leiden on July 10. The Netherlands is one of the several European countries that have been facing growing pressure to return cultural objects that were acquired during colonial rule drug violence and exploitation. In in 2018, France announced its intent to return 26 artworks to Benin that were taken by French troops in the 100 uh, French troops in the 80, 80, 1892 and 2019. Germany agreed to return artifacts to Namibia that were taken during a genocide in the early 20th century. So the Dutch Secretary of State for Culture and Media decided to return the Indonesia object based on the recommendation of a committee set up in the 2020 to animate claim from the restitution of cultural subject from colonial times. This is a historic moment, as Oslo said in the statement. This was the first time that the Netherlands followed the committee recommendation no return item that should never have been brought to the country. She added, "What more than anything, it's a moment to look to the future," he said. Oslo said his opportunity was also about starting up a period of closer cooperation with Indonesia and Sri Lanka. It's built such a research conversation and exchange among museums. The reception of the object in the culture and the Dutch government's broader effort to address its colonial legacy and improve in the relation sorry and improve in the relation between former colonies in Asia and Africa. Last month, Prime Minister Mark Rutte formally acknowledged Indonesia independence that as August 17, 1945, first part of former colonial power which previously decided that the Southeast Asian archipelago had again sovereignty in uh, 19, 1949. Rudd has also apologized for the foreign comment committed by Dutch force during Indonesia's struggle for independence. Earlier this month, Dutch King Willem-Alexander public apologized for the Netherlands' role in uplifting from slavery during colonial times, particularly in Suriname and ex-Dutch colonies in the Caribbean. Jakarta welcomed the Dutch government announcement. The object written in of a broader agreement between Indonesia and the Netherlands in 1875 on the restitution of cultural heritage that was taken during the colonial period. The area with many obstacles in its implementation, said Sri Markana, a member of the repatriation committee under the Indonesian Education, Culture, Research, Technology Management has been resumed in the last 2 years through a professor of history at Gajah Mada University in Yogyakarta. So, yes, this includes Indonesia will be more proactive. Indonesia has recently received data. Sorry, data on 2,500 items from the Dutch, and each item has to be first researched for its provenance. We say we are selective because it has to be gradual. We will prioritize that have important history value. We say the priority objectives said many include active from Indonesia Hindu period and royalty regalia that contain important knowledge on the history of the archipelago. He said in a challenge for the National Museum of Indonesia to prepare to research and store this object. Wilmar Ferry, the Director General of Culture at Indonesia Education, Culture, Research and Technology Ministry, said that there were more collections that Jakarta was thought to claim for the Netherlands, include the Java Man. The Indonesian government had not a specific timeline for the return of the sturdy object to Marside, but we hope that after July 10, and the process for the other collection will be faster because there is already a scan, he said. Okay, thank you. Maybe the last story tell. Thank you, everyone, and
Thank
goodbye.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good evening.
Good evening.